Chosen one, God wants you to stay in silence, to speak not a single word. From the moment you feel this calling, you are invited into a quiet that is unlike any other, a quiet that hums with purpose and with unseen presence. The world around you may still be full of noise, chatter, and endless streams of thought, but within you, a sacred stillness begins to grow, spreading its roots into every corner of your being. There is a subtle power in silence, a force that the ear cannot hear, but the soul immediately recognizes. Each breath becomes a chant, each heartbeat a drum, and each pause a bridge to the unseen. You are asked to step back from words, from explanations, from the habitual need to fill space with sound. In this space, your spirit is invited to listen deeply to the universe, to feel the currents of energy moving through you, to sense the whisper of divine intent in the ordinary and extraordinary alike. And silence is not emptiness. It is a fullness that waits to embrace you, a presence that carries knowledge beyond comprehension. You do not speak, yet the cosmos speaks to you in ways that exceed language. In this silence, there is also a unique moment for the power of your wishes. As you remain quiet, you are encouraged to imagine the deepest, most heartfelt desires of your heart, to allow them to take shape in the energy around you. Visualize them, hold them tenderly, and in the stillness, they begin to resonate with the universe. Let the warmth of your intentions grow as you focus, without uttering a single sound, and imagine the energy of your thoughts connecting with the infinite, creating vibrations that ripple outward. If you wish, you may later share your warmest intentions in the comments, leaving behind a number, 66, as a symbolic signal of alignment, energy, and manifestation. Every silent thought is a seed, and every unseen gesture is a contribution to the vast energy of existence, helping to energize the universe itself. As you move further into this sacred quiet, you will begin to notice the subtle shifts that occur within you. Your mind, often cluttered with endless chatter and worry, begins to settle. It is as though each word you have spoken in the past has left its imprint on your consciousness. And now, in choosing silence, you give yourself a reprieve, a chance to let go. The voice that urges, demands, or complains begins to fade, replaced by a deeper awareness. In this space, you learn to recognize the delicate signals of intuition, the gentle nudges of inner knowing, the subtle guidance that often goes unheard when you are lost in words. Silence is a form of listening that allows you to hear not only the world outside, but the universe within. Every detail, every subtle shift in energy, every movement of thought becomes more visible, more tangible, more meaningful. There is also a transformation that begins to unfold in your relationships and interactions. When you are in silence, the people around you sense it, even if they do not understand it. There is a presence that radiates from you, an energy of calm, of patience, of awareness, that shifts the dynamics of the space you occupy. Conversations become less urgent, moments become richer, and experiences become more layered. Even when others speak, your silence acts as a mirror, reflecting back their words in a way that allows clarity to emerge. You no longer react impulsively. You observe, you feel, you comprehend in ways that were previously inaccessible. In this sacred pause, you discover that silence is not passive. It is an active engagement with life that transforms everything it touches. The body itself begins to respond to the quiet. Breathing becomes more natural, more attuned to the rhythm of life. more deeply connected to the ebb and flow of energy. The heart begins to slow, the mind becomes clearer, and the senses sharpen in ways that make the ordinary extraordinary. Colors may seem more vivid, sounds more layered, and emotions more nuanced. The energy of your body begins to harmonize with the energy of the universe, creating a resonance that strengthens your connection to divine purpose. This is the beginning of a profound transformation, one that unfolds gradually, often imperceptibly at first, but inevitably, leaving a lasting imprint on your being. You may notice that the urge to speak, to justify, to explain, or to share your thoughts grows stronger at times. This is natural. The world is accustomed to words, and your mind is trained to rely on them. Yet you are asked to honor the silence, to resist the compulsion, to recognize that your inner voice, your inner knowing, speaks more clearly when external noise is paused. Each time you choose silence over speech, you strengthen your connection to the unseen, to the divine, and to the energy that moves through all things. You begin to sense that words, while powerful, are limited in their ability to express the fullness of existence. In silence, you access a language beyond words, a language of energy, presence, and resonance that communicates directly with the universe. Even the environment around you responds to your commitment to silence. Sounds, movements, and patterns that once seemed random begin to take on meaning. The rustle of leaves, the flow of water, the shift of light, all carry messages that only a quiet mind can perceive. Nature itself becomes a conversation partner, a teacher, and a reflection of the divine order that governs life. You learn to notice the synchronicities, the patterns that hint at guidance, the signs that encourage you to continue on this path. In this way, silence becomes a dialogue, not with words, but with existence itself. There are moments when you may feel doubt, frustration, or even fear. Silence can be challenging, for it strips away distractions and leaves only your raw self. Yet it is precisely in these moments that the power of the practice reveals itself. By not speaking, by not reacting, you cultivate patience, resilience, and clarity. You discover that presence is not dependent on noise, that awareness is not dependent on action, and that power is not dependent on volume. Each moment of silent commitment becomes a testament to your willingness to trust, to surrender, and to align with a purpose greater than yourself. The deeper you enter this practice, the more profound your connection becomes to the unseen currents that guide reality. You begin to sense that silence is not merely a personal discipline, but a channel through which energy flows. Your thoughts, intentions, and inner focus create waves that touch distant corners of existence. The universe itself seems to respond, subtly, invisibly, yet undeniably. In this sacred state, you may begin to notice shifts in circumstances, in opportunities, and in encounters that seem too precise to be coincidental. Silence amplifies perception, allowing you to notice these flows and to align with them in ways that spoken words cannot achieve. Time itself begins to feel different. In silence, moments stretch, allowing for deeper observation and reflection. The ordinary becomes extraordinary as you learn to inhabit the present fully. You begin to experience life not as a sequence of events to react to, but as a living tapestry to witness and influence through the subtle power of presence. Each breath, each glance, each thought carries weight and significance, contributing to a larger energetic pattern that unfolds around you. The world becomes less chaotic and more orchestrated, less random and more purposeful, as your awareness grows and your resonance with the universe strengthens. Your sense of self also begins to shift. In silence, ego and attachment soften, and the sense of identity expands beyond personal narrative. You realize that the self is both distinct and connected, individual and universal. You begin to perceive a deeper layer of reality where everything is interlinked, where energy, intention, and consciousness flow without interruption. This understanding fosters a profound sense of compassion, empathy, and wisdom. You recognize that silence is not withdrawal, but engagement, that listening is not passive but powerful, and that being still is not emptiness, but creation in its most potent form. As you continue along this path, it becomes evident that silence is both a gift and a responsibility. It is a gift because it allows access to depths of awareness otherwise unreachable. It is a responsibility because the energy you cultivate in stillness radiates outward, affecting not only your life but the lives of those around you, subtly shaping reality in ways that words cannot capture. You are entrusted with this power, and your commitment to it is a service to yourself, to others, and to the universe. In this sacred role, every pause, every breath, every moment of quiet contributes to the balance and harmony of existence. You may also begin to notice the interplay of inner and outer worlds more acutely. Thoughts, feelings, and sensations that once seemed disparate begin to align with external events, revealing patterns and connections that were previously hidden. Silence allows you to observe without judgment, to witness without interference, and to act with wisdom when necessary. This attunement creates a rhythm that is both grounding and expansive, anchoring you in reality while opening you to dimensions of awareness beyond ordinary perception. The more you honor this state of quiet, the more you realize that your role is not simply to exist silently, but to embody a presence that resonates with divine intention. Each moment of quiet action, each mindful breath, each unspoken observation contributes to a larger symphony of energy. You are no longer merely a participant in life, but a conduit through which cosmic energy flows. Silence becomes a medium of creation, a channel for transformation, and a vessel for divine will. Even when challenges arise, the practice of silence equips you with an inner resilience. You learn to navigate difficulties with grace, patience, and awareness, observing situations from a place of clarity rather than reactivity. The power of restraint, of listening rather than speaking, allows you to respond in ways that are thoughtful, precise, and effective. Others may not immediately understand your methods, but the results of your presence, calm, and intentionality become evident over time, subtly influencing outcomes and guiding circumstances toward balance. Through continued practice, you may notice an expansion of perception, where even subtle energies, intentions, and emotions of others become perceptible. You begin to sense the undercurrents of situations before they manifest, to intuit the flow of interactions before words are exchanged, and to understand the unseen dynamics that shape outcomes. Silence sharpens perception, heightens intuition, and strengthens the ability to act in alignment with divine guidance. You are able to navigate the world with a sense of foresight, awareness, and presence that is deeply rooted in the quiet discipline you have cultivated. As you continue in silence, a profound awareness begins to emerge. The absence of speech does not leave emptiness. Instead, it creates a space where understanding grows in ways that words can never fully capture. You start to sense the rhythms of life, the ebb and flow of energy that connects every living thing. Your presence in silence becomes a magnet for subtleties, small gestures, fleeting expressions, delicate movements that often go unnoticed by those absorbed in conversation or distraction. It is as if the world itself softens, bends toward your stillness, offering glimpses of patterns and meanings previously hidden in noise. In these moments, you may notice a heightened sensitivity to energy. Emotions, intentions, and thoughts of others begin to register more clearly within you. Without the barrier of speech, your empathy deepens, allowing you to perceive layers of reality that are invisible to the casual observer. This is not mere imagination. It is a tuning of perception, a refining of awareness that comes from intentionally withholding words and listening deeply. The quiet mind is fertile ground for such growth because it is free from the clutter of habitual speech, judgment, and incessant mental commentary. In choosing silence, you create a channel through which divine guidance, intuition, and cosmic resonance can flow uninterrupted. The natural world, in particular, takes on new significance. Trees, rivers, the wind, even the patterns of sunlight across the earth. They speak a language only accessible in quietude. Each element seems imbued with purpose, and in listening without interruption, you discover messages hidden in movement, sound, and light. The rustling leaves are no longer background noise. They are the voice of the universe, echoing in subtle but unmistakable ways. Birdsong becomes a rhythm to align with, water a melody to resonate with, and the shifting of clouds a silent guide toward deeper understanding. Nature's voice is intricate, nuanced, and omnipresent, yet it can only be heard when the human mind steps aside and your attention rests in true stillness. The practice of silence also transforms your inner dialogue. Thoughts no longer dominate your awareness as they once did. Instead, they appear as fleeting clouds across a vast sky, observed but not clung to. You develop the ability to witness without attachment, to feel without reaction, and to be present without being consumed by circumstance. This shift in perception is subtle at first, almost imperceptible, but it grows steadily. Over time, you notice that decisions, actions, and interactions are guided less by impulsive thought and more by an intuitive clarity that emerges from quiet observation. In silence, you are able to perceive what is essential, to cut through superficial distractions, and to act from a place of wisdom rather than habit. Even in social settings, silence becomes a tool of power and insight. The world is accustomed to constant speech, to words that fill the gaps and dictate the flow of interactions. When you choose silence, you introduce a presence that is immediately noticed, even if not fully understood. People are drawn to you, intrigued by your calm and focused energy. They sense that you operate on a different plane, guided by awareness rather than impulse. Conversations shift subtly in your presence. Others may become more thoughtful, more reflective, more aware of their own words and actions. Your silence acts as a mirror, reflecting back not only the spoken content, but the underlying energy, intention, and emotion that drive interactions. The body itself deepens in attunement to this practice. Muscles relax, breathing becomes steadier, and the internal energy begins to circulate with greater freedom. There is a sense of alignment, as though mind, body, and spirit are moving together in a fluid rhythm, tuned to a frequency beyond ordinary perception. This alignment enhances your ability to perceive energy in others, to sense the flow of circumstances, and to act with a precision and clarity that is impossible in a state of constant speech or distraction. Every gesture, every step, every glance becomes infused with intention and awareness, reinforcing the sacred connection to the universe that silence cultivates. The journey into silence also sharpens your awareness of time. Moments are no longer fleeting, lost to the rush of activity. Instead, they expand and unfold with a richness that allows deep observation. A single glance can reveal layers of meaning. A single touch can resonate with subtle energy, and a single breath can connect you to the heartbeat of existence. In this expanded perception of time, you begin to notice patterns and cycles that were previously invisible. Opportunities, challenges, and insights appear with clarity, and you are able to respond with deliberate, informed action rather than reactionary impulse. There is also a deepening sense of connection to divine purpose. Silence is a form of devotion, a practice that aligns your consciousness with the unseen forces that govern reality. In this state, you are able to sense the subtle guidance that leads you toward meaningful choices, encounters, and experiences. Each day becomes a tapestry woven from intention, observation, and alignment. You no longer chase external validation or fleeting desires. Instead, your focus shifts inward toward resonance, harmony, and the cultivation of energy that serves both yourself and the greater universe. Challenges will arise, of course. The mind may resist, seeking to break the quiet with habitual chatter or anxious thoughts. External pressures may tempt you to justify, explain, or defend. These moments are not failures, but opportunities to strengthen the practice, to anchor more deeply in the discipline of stillness. Each time you resist the urge to speak unnecessarily, you reinforce your connection to the unseen currents of life, and your presence becomes more attuned, more luminous, and more aligned with divine will. Over time, you may begin to perceive the subtle energy exchanges that occur in all interactions. Every glance, every smile, every unspoken word carries resonance that can either harmonize or disrupt the flow of energy around you. By remaining centered in silence, you are able to contribute positively to these exchanges, offering clarity, calm, and stability without uttering a single sound. Others may feel a sense of peace, trust, or alignment simply through your presence. Your silence becomes a form of communication far more powerful than speech, a language of energy, intention, and consciousness that transcends the limits of words. Through this practice, you are also able to observe yourself with unprecedented honesty. Without the distractions of constant speech, habitual explanations, or self-justifications, your inner world comes into sharper focus. Patterns, tendencies, and motivations that were once hidden begin to reveal themselves. You gain the ability to reflect without distortion, to witness without judgment, and to understand without bias. This self-awareness strengthens both your personal growth and your capacity to interact with the world in ways that are thoughtful, intentional, and aligned with higher purpose. The universe, in turn, responds to your alignment. Opportunities, insights, and synchronicities emerge, often in ways that feel uncanny. Your thoughts, intentions, and presence radiate outward, interacting with the energetic fabric of reality to create resonance, alignment, and manifestation. Each moment of intentional silence contributes to this energetic flow, reinforcing patterns of clarity, balance, and divine order. You become a node of energy, a focal point through which the universe expresses harmony, wisdom, and guidance. Even when physical solitude is not possible, the inner silence remains your refuge and tool. Crowded spaces, conversations, and distractions become less overwhelming as you cultivate a steady center. Your mind remains anchored, your awareness expands, and your connection to divine flow deepens. This inner stillness is a constant companion, a source of strength, clarity, and insight that cannot be disrupted by external circumstances. You carry it with you, and it shapes your interactions, your perceptions, and your experiences with subtle but profound impact. As you continue, your sense of responsibility grows. Silence is not merely personal discipline, it is a gift to the world. By cultivating presence, awareness, and attuned energy, you positively influence the spaces, people, and situations you encounter. Your silence contributes to the harmony of the universe, offering a stabilizing force, a source of insight, and a reflection of divine order. This understanding deepens the practice, as you recognize that your commitment to stillness has ramifications far beyond your own life, shaping reality in ways both visible and invisible. You may begin to perceive layers of reality previously inaccessible. Energies, emotions, and intentions that once seemed scattered now coalesce into coherent patterns. You gain the ability to sense outcomes before they unfold, to intuit the flow of events, and to act in alignment with forces that govern the unseen. Silence becomes both a tool and a lens, enabling a heightened awareness of cause and effect, intention and consequence, energy and manifestation. You learn to navigate existence with grace, precision, and insight, guided by a wisdom that emerges from the depths of quiet observation. In continued practice, you may also notice the deepening of your spiritual connection. Silence fosters humility, reverence, and trust in a higher order. It nurtures patience, persistence, and an understanding that not all outcomes are immediate or visible. In this space, you cultivate faith in the process, knowing that the energy you align with, the intentions you nurture, and the stillness you maintain all contribute to the unfolding of a greater plan. Each moment of silence, no matter how brief, becomes a seed of potential, a conduit for divine alignment, and a reflection of your role in the tapestry of existence. As the practice of silence deepens, you begin to perceive life in a way that is unfiltered and immediate. Each sensation, each perception, each moment of awareness carries clarity that was previously obscured by habitual speech and incessant mental chatter. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. The warmth of sunlight on your skin, the subtle scent carried on the breeze, the delicate textures of nature or human presence, all of these are amplified, imbued with significance, and experienced fully in the depth of your quietude. In silence, you are no longer merely passing through life. You are participating in it with heightened awareness and reverent attention. You begin to notice the interplay of energies in every interaction. Words, though powerful, often carry distortions, intentions hidden behind social conventions, or noise that obscures true meaning. In silence, you are able to see past these veils. The energy of people, the subtle shifts in mood, and the unspoken truths that underlie communication become perceptible. This heightened sensitivity allows you to respond with precision, empathy, and clarity. You learn to discern intention, to recognize patterns, and to interact in ways that honor both your inner truth and the truth of others. Silence, therefore, becomes not a withdrawal, but a deeper form of engagement, a bridge between inner knowing and outer action. The mind, freed from the constant pressure to formulate, articulate, and perform, begins to settle into a rhythm of natural intelligence. Thoughts are no longer the master, but the servant of awareness. You may notice moments where understanding arises spontaneously, Insights emerge without effort, and solutions appear without deliberate searching. This is the intelligence of the silent mind, the clarity that exists beyond words, where understanding is not constructed but received. In this state, you realize that many of life's challenges and confusions are products of overthinking and unnecessary speech. Silence allows the natural flow of wisdom to surface, unburdened by ego, habit, or expectation. You may also begin to experience a deepening connection to the subtle energies that surround you. Objects, spaces, and even people carry vibrations that become perceptible in stillness. You learn to feel these energies, to sense shifts, and to act in ways that harmonize with the flow rather than disrupt it. The world reveals layers of existence that are invisible in constant noise. A glance, a gesture, a pattern of movement, all are imbued with significance. In silence, you are attuned to these nuances, and your presence becomes a stabilizing, resonant force within the environments you inhabit. The journey into silence also reveals the intricate patterns of your own mind and spirit. Habits of thought, recurring judgments, and automatic reactions are brought to light in the quiet. With awareness, these patterns can be observed without attachment or criticism. This observation fosters growth, transformation, and liberation. You begin to understand the subtle forces that shape your life, not as burdens, but as lessons and opportunities. By remaining silent, you cultivate the capacity to witness without interference, to guide without imposing, and to act from a place of alignment rather than compulsion. Within this deep silence, you begin to see yourself not merely as an observer, but as a being in transformation. Each moment of awareness sharpens the clarity of your inner energy, purifies your intentions, and aligns your actions with purpose. Silence is not simply a pause. It is a way of moving in harmony with the rhythm of life, a means of understanding the subtleties of existence and integrating them fully. This silent journey connects you both to your true self and to the boundless energy of the universe, allowing every breath, thought, and moment of presence to participate in the self-organizing flow of life. Remaining in silence is no longer a duty, but a gift, a guide, and a doorway to the deepest meaning of being.